do you say, everybody? It's time for Elephant in the Room, part of Roll Tide Pods, and we appreciate you guys being here. Don't forget, as we talk Alabama football, Jake Coker, I'm Mick Gillispie, that we're brought to you by MyBookie. Now's the time. You pull up the games of the week. You got to figure out what games you want, what games you don't want. MyBookie.ag, when you're signing up, they do a 110% price match, right? Deposit match when you use the code next round. I've even got my next round football shirt on right now. The great gear at the next round, by the way, guys. So, if you need help with those picks, like I have a very slow start to the season, check out my man Lance at Lance's Lock, lanceslock.com. He covers it as well as anyone, and the guy's on the money when it comes to like figuring out what's going to happen in these games.
Our boy Ryan Anderson has been following Lance. He told me last night. Lance has been helping him out a lot. Really?
That's good to know. Yeah.
He knows his stuff.
He does. Well, first off, we need to get Ryan back in here again sometime soon.
Yeah, he had something come up today.
Yeah. I think he's always he brings a different element to the show.
Oh yeah. I love the stories he tells when he gets going and he starts laughing.
Yeah, me too. Me too. The best part about our podcast is that I think that no matter who comes in here, they're going to have fun doing this.
Oh yeah, for sure. Just shoot the shit and have a good time.
I'm going to give you a little bit more height there. Let's see if that will give you, because you're taller than the camera. All right, well, let's talk about something first. As soon as I get this, everybody's like,
I got one quick question for you, because this one's kind of mind-boggling to me. Utah, Oregon. What do you think of that line?
Oh,
you know what it is?
Where is it? Where are they at?
I believe they're at Oregon. Hang on. No, they're at Utah.
They're at Utah.
Yep.
And
verify that. But
what is the line on this one? I'm going to say that Utah's probably not as far of an underdog as you would expect. And I think that that's because they're a very solid football team, and they've kicked Oregon's ass the last few times. So, I mean, have you seen it? Like, they have physically beat them up.
Yeah.
And I think for them to lose the football game, Oregon's going to have to play a lot more physical. And I bet you the line's probably under 3.
No, it's not. No, it's Oregon -6.
Okay. Well, I'm taking Utah.
Yeah. That one's got me confused. I figured Oregon would be like a, 9-point favorite. I just feel like, the perception of Oregon is they're on a different level than Utah. And just, does that line not make any sense to you? You think it should be lower?
Well, I mean, I guess just having watched the way that Utah is just beating them down, I've been fooled by this game a few times. And Utah to me is that team that is going to come in and they're going to try to punch you in the mouth.
Yeah. They're going to play well.
Yeah, right. Like,
depends on which Oregon team shows.
Yeah, right. And Oregon's a good football team too. Like I got to give the Pac-12 credit. Like, those teams are good. They're fun to watch too.
They're going out on a high note.
Yeah. Well, and next year they'll probably all be shitty again, but it's just the way that it all fell into place.
Oh yeah.
They're all just like veteran at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I mean, I could see it going either way. I think if I would probably take Utah just because they just find a way to get it done, and they've beaten these guys up. I mean, physically beaten them up over the last couple of years. And in college in particular, the NFL really isn't like this. But in college, to end a streak against a team, you almost have to have like it really has to go your way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's just this mental thing. Like,
all the bounces, everything.
Well, Tennessee beats Alabama, and it took every single break.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I hope that streak I hope we start a new streak this year.
Yeah.
But
smells a little cigar-y in the studio.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
It's a good cigars, though. What if every game was a cigar game? I guess it wouldn't be that important.
It wouldn't be special. I wouldn't be smoking them.
No. Be too much cigars.
I love the once a year. Hell, I got through half of that last one.
I saved it for you in case Ryan came over.
Save that one for next year.
Yeah, now well, I'll just chop the end of it off and it'll be waiting on you. Because R&R's in Tuscaloosa. We're down here on the coast. Except, let's see, next home game. Well, next week I probably could grab you one.
Yeah.
A new stick. Yeah. I've had allergies, though, since the next day. I don't know if it's the cigar smoke. I don't know if it's cutting the, half sand yard that I have.
It takes the life out of you, especially when you get that shitty taste in your mouth.
So one of my Tennessee friends said something to me, and I go, I've had this really shitty cigar taste in my mouth for 16 out of the last 17 years. A subtle jab.
That's right.
They've complained about the officiating, which is so funny to me, because they didn't lose because of officiating.
Well, they don't. You don't get shut out in a half.
Yeah, right.
Because of officials. That
Was
just a dominant performance in the second half.
They can mess you up. Because I watched last year's game, but it still comes down to if Jahmyr Gibbs makes the catch on that play across the middle, if they kick the field goal at the end of the game, they probably could have won the game.
Yeah.
It still comes down to you got to make plays.
The one that these fair catch rules just drive me crazy. I don't know how you. It even annoyed me for Tennessee. That was the only one to me that, I know there were a few that were, everybody's talking about, but that one drove me crazy. And then I don't know if you saw the Iowa game where they call a touchdown back, the winning touchdown back on a punt return for a touchdown. The guy's running and his left arm's kind of flailing a little bit, but you can't really tell what he's signaling. And then he scores a touchdown. They call it back.
Yeah. Well, Nick Saban talked about Kool-Aid and basically kind of took up Kool-Aid for running out of the way on those punts. And he said that they've been kicking the ball away from him this year, which is true.
Yeah.
And that they're also rugby style kickers, so it's a little bit different than the conventional, when they kick the ball in the air. But he didn't take up for him on the one that bounced to the 1 yard line and all. Yeah. But he basically, you got to defend your guys. I love that about Saban.
Oh yeah. Well, look, if you don't feel comfortable catching the ball, muffing it is 10 times worse than what am I looking for? Jeez, muffing it. That's the worst thing that could possibly happen.
Right.
So, if you don't feel comfortable doing it, get out of the way, because, it sucks having the ball inside the 5 yard line, but man, you turn it over, you're in a lot of trouble. Yeah,
you don't want to do that either. And so maybe that's part of it. And you kind of felt like that was more of it than, I wondered if he was in a spot where he was kind of losing his nerve on catching the football and then having to run through that, car wreck, which is a real, and that's not making fun at all. That's like, what I mean?
No, I know exactly what you mean.
You really have to have.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to catch it.
No, you got to have a different mentality to do that. Just like driving at Talladega. But you kind of felt like it was more that he just didn't want to mess up.
No, I think that's exactly what it was. Again, to not, like I just said, have it within the 5 yard line, you still got a chance. You fumble it and give them the ball on the 40 yard line in a close game at the time. That changes the whole landscape of the game. And so, if you feel like you're going to drop it, get out of the way. But then again, if there's somebody on that team who can catch them, I don't care if you're not a good returner, if you just got hands and you can catch it and fair catch it, and we don't have to worry about anything, then, maybe that's the answer.
Yeah, no doubt. No, I'm with you on that too. And we'll find out, we'll see what direction they go. What did you guys do during the off week like this? This is a kind of it comes at a good time, but then Mike Johnson said something to me yesterday that kind of scared me. He said, if they're not careful, they'll lose to LSU by 21. Basically what he's saying is you got to get refocused again.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. The off week was like camp all over again. You got Monday on a regular game week. Monday, you come back. It's kind of an abbreviated practice. Tuesday, Wednesday. Tuesday's the toughest. Wednesday's knocked off a little bit. And then Thursday, It's all scout team stuff. There's not a whole lot of good on good. Then you do 2-minute good on good at the end. So it's, dialed back just a little bit on game week.
Right.
But when you go back to an off week, it's like camp Monday through Friday.
So a lot of fundamentals.
Well, you're still going through they'll still be practicing against LSU, but the good on good periods are, throughout practice. So, it is a long, grueling practice, and it's, again, you're going back to August. So, everybody thinks a game week or an off week is an off week. No, man, you're practicing harder than you have all year.
Good. Well, I said that in a way because, as fans, we've got to make sure that we get refocused again, get our heads right. Andrew Bone said when he just had a little baby, and he said they had to get their heads right at home. I was like, I don't know what that means, but you do that.
Get that head right.
Get their head right. He said the dog, his son, like little guy. Because it's easy to, if LSU's a different challenge, man. It's a different challenge.
It's a weird fit. We're going to have to score points and just get as many stops as possible, but I don't think you're going to be able to stop that offense. You're not going to be able to play that offense like you played Tennessee this week.
Yeah.
Joe Milton, you're going to get the first half Joe Milton the whole game. Yeah, who knows what he's doing, sees the right stuff, makes the right reads, gets the ball out, and makes all the throws consistently. Jaden Daniels is a different animal.
Yeah.
Defensively, hopefully we can be physical, push them around, and expose them at a lot of different positions.
Yeah.
But again, if we come out and play like we did in that first half, they're going to wear our asses out.
Yeah. I agree. But the other thing is they don't have as good a defense.
But no, that's right. But, again, if we can't figure out how to snap the ball and we're, getting false start penalties, people forget, hell, LSU still has a chance to be in the playoff. They got 2 losses, but, they beat us. They beat Georgia in the SEC championship. They could be the first 2-loss team to make it. That's a pretty strong resume. And, teams tend to be judged based on how they're playing at the end of the year. So,
right.
If they turn it on and figure it out, I hope we're not discounting who LSU is just because what they've allowed on defense.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be the case, though. If there's anybody better than to get people motivated and locked in than Saban, I want to see who that is.
No, that's right. But hey, man, we still have games where we don't show up.
Yeah, that's true. You just don't know. With this team, you just don't know what you're going to get every week.
Yeah. And I think we have a few weeks until we're playing like we did in the second half of Tennessee, just because I don't think we're there yet. But again, the potential's there. You've seen it. Obviously, everybody's seen it. We can beat anybody in the country.
Yeah. Plus, it's at home, and look, they're not gonna. LSU's not sneaking up on Alabama.
No, they're not. They're not.
Especially after last year. But they, they ran out on the field and everything, but they didn't rub it in. I thought they're loud mouths and everything. Then they'll have a beer. They're kind of like that extended family that you go visit. And you're like, how am I related to these people again?
Yeah, people give,
you know what I mean?
Alabama people.
They're like Cousin Eddie. They're like a whole Cousin Eddie crew.
They give us shit, but everybody in the country gives us shit, but we can always look at LSU and be like, okay, we still got them to make fun of.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Cheddar's full, Clark. I was
like that story I was telling you. I'll tell the story again, but when my father-in-law and myself and my wife went to a little beach bar down in Orange Beach, and I walk in. This is like right after I got done playing, and as soon as we step in there, 2 guys in LSU hats come up to me. They're like, You Jake Coker? And I was like, yeah, that's me. And they're like, oh man, let's can we get a picture? I was like, yeah, let's take a picture. And we take a picture and we go sit down, and then they're sitting right behind us, and the waitress brings us a couple of beers for me and our table. And I was like, I'm sitting there, I'm talking to my father-in-law, and we're both like, all right, we're going to get their asses. We're going to get these guys. And we're sitting there, and here comes the waitress. She's walking to their table. And one of the guys is on the phone, and he looks up, and he sees her, and we bought him corn dogs. She's walking to that table, and he goes, holy shit, they just bought us effing corn dogs. And I still got that picture in my phone. I'm me and my father-in-law drinking a beer, and they're holding corn dogs.
Did they laugh about it?
Oh, yeah.
What do they do? They're all down here. Every time I do my pregame show from the Floribama, all I run into are LSU fans.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you see a tricked out pontoon boat, that's an LSU
yeah,
grad.
yeah, right. Yeah.
With exhaust pipes coming out of it.
Yeah. This is like this is definitely their vacation spot. I say this, I mean, down there.
Oh, yeah. Orange Beach.
They've
taken over.
Yeah.
Louisiana and Texas. It's the only plates you see on that 10.
That's true. They got good taste. I like it down there. Always have a good time at the Floribama. But with that said, when Army Navy comes, the game plan is let's do this show like right after the next round and have like a big ass show.
That's right.
That's fun. Right. See if they can hang with us.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I mean?
I don't know. It might be tough.
And get them shots. Bring out the screwball.
Yeah.
He's so fun. I know LT will. He's not going to turn them down.
No, LT. It'd be hard for us to hang in there with LT.
Yeah.
I've seen him in action down there.
Yeah, so I know about that too. So when you talk about the off week, what's you say that it's like a hard practice? What do you guys do on Saturday?
Oh, we got Saturday off. Okay. Saturday, Sunday. Well, I can't remember. I think you had to report back on Sunday night. But you do have the weekend off, and Coach Saban was always pretty vocal about not getting in trouble on that weekend.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
it'd be a good idea not to.
Oh yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all 18 to 22-year-old dumbasses.
Right. And assistant coaches. Well, some assistant coaches.
Yeah, and the team meeting room, the players sit at the bottom and the coaches sit up top. And I think when he was saying that, he was looking behind us.
Yeah, right. That means all you guys.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Did you guys, when you were in college, did you ever take like the trip to the Floribama?
No, we tried to one year for a day. Kenny Chesney came down to the Floribama one year, and we had talked about how awesome it'd be to just the last camp practice, haul ass down there and come back up. But then we started talking about it, and we're like, that's probably not the best look because it'll definitely come back to coach that we were down at the Floribama.
Yeah, right.
His camp was over.
Yeah, not a good look. Right. I agree with that.
But that was really the only chance we had to go down there. I mean, over the summer maybe, but man, it was so busy. I mean, you were just nonstop football, all the time. And so, I wish we would have been able to go down there once, as a team bonding thing. That'd been a good time.
It'd be fun. Or do you guys ever have get-togethers? I mean, you won a championship, I mean, that'd be cool.
We, not really, man. I go up there, I've been up there once this year for the Ole Miss game or practice for the Ole Miss game. But I hadn't been back to a game this year. I think we got our 10-year reunion next year, 2025.
Yeah, a couple years.
Yeah.
Let's not get there too fast. Slow it down.
Yeah, I got my 10-year reunion for the Florida State National Championship coming up.
Oh, that's going to be cool.
Well, yeah, I've been talking to my old teammates about it. I was like, should I go to this? I don't know if I don't know how that's going to work. But
you go, man. I mean, who cares? They won. I mean, if it was a reunion for the team that came in second, then everybody would probably feel different. When you win, it's not like people are like, hey, the guy, you transferred and won at Bama.
Yeah. Well, since I transferred, I've driven through Tallahassee. I hadn't been back to the locker room or anything, but I don't know. I need to go back. I got a good buddy, Nick O'Leary, who's working over there now. He's an analyst for Florida State. So may need to.
Might be time to go back.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's
plus
right.
they're playing some really good football right now.
Oh yeah, I mean I want to go back to a game really bad. It's just a matter of time for us to all pick a week that works. You know, that works.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Sheesh, I'm trying to figure out when I'm going to Key West after football season. And try to find that week, you know. That's like the downtime after, you know, and for years, I mean, you couldn't really plan anything until after the national championship game because Bama was in it every year.
Oh yeah.
Last year was different, not making it.
It was weird, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Playing, well, it's, you know.
No SEC championship game and just had a bowl game.
Well, I was shocked we showed up and beat Kansas State the way we did.
Well, we were creative. And that was always my issue with them last year was being creative on offense. You know, like I felt like they didn't want to do anything outside of, hey, we're good enough to just beat you without doing all that stuff. But I think in college, man, you got to be creative.
Oh, yeah. Well, hell, you saw it this week.
They were creative.
Thought
they did a good job.
That was the best they've looked.
Yeah.
I mean, the most different, the most variations and looks on offense we saw all year.
Mm-hmm.
And man, they looked like they loved it. I mean, it looked like everybody on the field was excited.
Yeah.
They were all getting involved. I mean, again, that was in all aspects of the game. That's the Alabama team I want to see.
Yeah, me too. All right, what can I get you over there? I'll get
one
you
of those Sun Labs.
Okay, I'm going to load you up, but I'm going to give you a question. What is that question I'm going to ask you? It's got to be a good one, you know.
Now we were talking about Michigan, the Michigan sign stealing.
Yeah, Michigan is accused of stealing signs, basically sending a guy to the game that could decipher signs, a former military guy. And
is that true?
Yeah.
He's a former military guy?
That's the way I understand it, yeah. And so he would go and basically figure out what all the signs meant and had been doing it for years. And now they're accused of it. And I guess there's like video of this guy at these games with binoculars and, you know, and all that stuff. And it's against the rules. I don't know. I just don't know enough about like this to know like what the ramifications are for something like this. But it feels like it's really bad.
Yeah, I mean that. Wow, I hadn't. You know, I've always thought that's kind of part of the game. You know, I mean, stealing signs during the game, and you know, I mean, if you give a cue and you're not disguising your signs and all that well enough, then you know that's kind of your problem. You know, but man, scouting somebody going to games early and just deliberately
like a real
stealing,
organized.
Yeah, I mean that does seem a little bit.
Well, it's against the rules.
Yeah.
But does the NCAA even have enough teeth to like lay down?
I was about to say they don't even. It's almost like they're not even a governing body anymore.
And Michigan seems to be kind of that school now that is constantly outside the lines.
Oh yeah.
What they had those camps they weren't supposed to have. You know, their coach got suspended this year, and they almost just like gave the middle finger to the NCAA the way that they handled that.
When Harbaugh, and he was hitting rock bottom, hell, I thought he was going to get fired for a few years there. Yeah. Man, you start digging deep, and really nothing's off limits when you're that desperate, And
I mean, like they've done
sign stealing is something that
is that bad?
I think. It's like the Houston Astros. I mean, I got no problem with stealing signs in game. You pick something up,
right?
And
were you good at doing that?
No, I mean, I never really tried to do that, but I mean, I've seen former coaches who coached at other organizations and picked up on signs.
Yeah,
I mean,
in baseball, I've played with guys who are great at it.
Yeah,
and they get to second base, and then they're like, Coker, and that's a fastball. Jake, that's a curve.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's go 1-2, 1-2. Change up. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. What Aaron Judge this year got caught? He was looking over at the first base coach right before pitch.
Yeah, trying to figure out location.
Oh yeah. No, but I mean, I've seen it happen before. It's it's one of those deals. And look, these coaches, they got, they're supporting their families with the jobs they've got, and they don't want to, have to up and move. They're taking every advantage they can get.
Right.
So I
a lot
get
of money involved in this. But what do you think the solution's going to be? I mean, are they really going to
what can you do?
I mean, right. That's what I'm saying.
What do you do?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe you fine them or something, but I don't know what the answer is. I'm going to pull you back a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, there was a game in college that I won't mention the game or the teams, but when we were playing, we picked up on signals being stolen, and then then we had to get a couple equipment managers to put up towels so that so the other side couldn't see our signals anymore. But I mean, it definitely goes on. I mean, and you can pick up on when they start to figure it out.
Yeah. I thought it was funny that Alabama was one of the teams that they stole signs from, because it would go to they went to the national championship game when they played Georgia. And I guess they stole signs from both teams.
Yeah.
Which is
I don't even
interesting.
know how Alabama, I don't know how we even signal in plays now. I mean, we used to have posters for certain aspects of the plays and then hand signals for the rest.
Yeah.
And
they started doing the posters were like cartoon characters and stuff.
I mean,
I
can tell you all of them. I mean, I can tell you it was. I don't want to share too much because
they still use them.
I don't know if they do or not. I would imagine they probably do because it
upgrade them at some point.
You would think so, but for what that picture portrayed, there was only one word for it, so I mean, it'd have to be something pretty similar.
Right. What's it like audibling a play? Did you audible plays? Did you change the play at the line of scrimmage some?
Well, yeah, it had to slide protection a lot when you saw certain pressures coming or different looks. When you got certain looks versus certain runs, you might have to just alter it and run it the opposite way. I know Coach Cristobal, he was our offensive line coach when I was at Alabama.
Yeah.
And he is, I mean, fiery. He's all about it. And man, we were playing Mississippi State and we had a run called, and I remember the safety rolled down and I called it to the other side, and Derek ran it was wide open.
Yeah.
Like a 60, 70-yard touchdown right before half. And I got back to the line of scrimmage or back to the sideline, and you'd have thought I threw a game-winning touchdown. He's slapping me around to tell me how good I did. He's like, just loved it.
Yeah.
And so some of the
got to give you a lot of confidence.
Oh yeah. I mean, when you make the right run game changes and you helped out getting the right spot, it's almost like throwing a touchdown pass.
Yeah. Well, I remember some of those runs. They're saying he might get traded to the Ravens.
That's what I keep hearing.
Let's hope so. It'd be good for everyone involved.
And Tennessee, that'd be giving up a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like he's the staple of that team.
I know, but they're not that good anymore.
Yeah.
They traded the wide receiver Brown to the Eagles, and
that was it.
Whew, you don't
well, they drafted Malik Willis. Drafted him, and he's hadn't really panned out.
Yeah, but it was the guy that torched Alabama from Arkansas that they drafted to play wide receiver. And the guy's hurt all the time. We couldn't stop. The year that Arkansas, Bryce Young's Heisman year, I think it was.
Trying to think who that is. A receiver?
Yeah. Receiver, Arkansas. I'll find it. But yeah, the NFL, it's hard to find stars.
Well, they just come out of nowhere, seems like sometimes,
Yeah. Part of it's where you end up.
I know for quarterbacks, that's 75% of the battle.
Right. Treylon Burks.
Treylon Burks.
Yeah. Yeah, he was amazing.
Was it a close game against Arkansas?
Yeah. Remember, he kept just scoring touchdowns on us.
Hell, I can't even remember that.
They just throw the ball and he'd just catch it and run it in, and then we'd get it and go back. And it wasn't last year; it was the year before that.
Man, Arkansas, I'd say they're always tough.
Yeah, except they lost 7-3 to Mississippi State, and then they fired their offensive coordinator.
Yeah,
that tells you too that
Danny knows.
Yeah, and he's an Alabama coach, right? He coached at Alabama at some point.
Been at Miami, been at Alabama, been kind of all over the place.
Yeah, tough profession.
Oh yeah, I mean, doesn't matter what you did 2 years ago. You know, I wouldn't want to. I mean, geez, between the recruiting and the and.
Do you ever think about coaching?
Till I played college football.
Really?
I mean, I saw what those guys had to do, all the recruiting, all the time away. I mean, I knew when I had kids, I wanted to be able to spend a lot of time with them. And man, I've been around a lot of great people, great men, that were coaches, but man, that's a sacrifice. You're giving up a lot to coach college ball.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they're gone a lot during the week. Go recruit, spend time with kids that aren't. I mean, you know, hell, your kids are. A lot of them are the ones you're coaching. I mean,
right.
You know, it's you dedicate so much time to the kids that are on your team that you probably spend more time with your players than you do your own kids.
Yeah, I can see that,
and I appreciate that. I mean, it meant a lot to me, but again, when I saw the way their schedules and the way they had to live, and they made a lot of money, but that's a lifestyle. It'd be tough.
Yeah, no, I hear you. What have you ever gotten together with all of the living national championship quarterbacks at Alabama? And is that something that like anybody's ever done? Because that would be that'd be a great football.
I did sign a football with all the national championship winning quarterbacks at Alabama one time. Lyle Kane, the team doctor at Alabama.
Yeah.
One of them, he had a football. He got me to sign it, and it has every national championship quarterback, you know, that's ever played at Alabama.
Really?
And so,
like the guys from back in the day?
Every single one, yeah. And I don't know if it was his dad's before him that got that done. I mean, it was old football.
Man, think about that.
Oh man, I can't imagine what he could sell that thing for.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking like just to, you know, well,
every quarterback that ever won in Alabama had their name on it.
Yeah, so it'd be like, I mean,
talk about imposter syndrome.
Oh man, a group of people right there, huh?
Yeah, I mean, just to sign a football with Joe Namath's name on there.
Yeah, I know. That's so cool. Yeah, that is awesome.
You want my signature?
Yeah, so you and Jay Barker be on there, and McElroy. That's pretty cool, man. I mean, wow. What do you do? It's priceless.
Oh yeah, I mean,
do you get that authenticity? You know, the authenticity thing on that. I don't even know who the guy is. Like, is it Ray Hudson or something? I don't know.
I don't know either.
But who cares? It doesn't matter if it's on that football.
Oh yeah, I mean,
the guy that you met the guy from 1923. If he was still alive, you could get his autograph.
No, that's right. I mean, I had there was 15 names on when I signed it. I was the 16th, so pretty wild.
Yeah,
I need to ask him. I'll text him and ask him how he got all those on there. But.
Yeah, I'm curious. First interview I ever did with anybody famous was on college radio at Alabama, Bart Starr. Did I tell you this? And then I was in the closet the other day, and the first time I ever saw my son's name signed, which ironically is your name, was Bart Starr. Mm-hmm. Two different things. He was doing something and I was there and I'm like, hey, they were selling footballs and I was talking to him about my interview. I'm like, hey, would you sign this for me? Yeah, like I'd love to. You know, he told me his Alabama team was awful. I don't think they won a game or they won one game or something. Think about that, man. The guy that won the first two Super Bowls wouldn't be on the football.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
Back then, football was different though, man. It's just a different time, different world, you know. I still can't believe how much analysis is put into football nowadays, where it's, it used to be, he's a good player, I'm going to draft him.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, that's all the analytics now that play into it. And baseball's really got ruined by analytics. But
Moneyball.
Moneyball. Yeah.
Interesting story, but
yeah. It's what's happening now.
The best time in baseball to me was they need to bring steroids back.
Bring it back and have everybody like yoked up playing forever.
No, actually, the best World Series I ever saw, I think, was the Astros Dodgers about 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
You remember that when it was just home run? Home run after home run.
Yeah.
And there was an extra innings game in there where it was like, surely this is it. And then somebody hit another almost walk-off home run and they'd answer.
Yeah.
Right back. You know which series I'm talking about?
I think it was 2017.
That's probably right.
And then they found out that the Astros were using trash cans to steal signs.
And microphones, apparently.
Yeah, microphones, which is
buzzers or zappers or whatever.
Yeah, crazy. With steroids in football, to me, is different than steroids in baseball. And I don't know why, but if somebody gets busted for PEDs in football, I guess because you're so banged up all the time, you're probably just trying to get healthy again.
Yeah, well, it's like UFC fighters. Yeah, I would think. They get out of the USADA pool so they can come back from injury, like Conor McGregor. Yeah. And then when he's coming back, he jumps back in when he knows he's going to be clean. Yeah. Is that what he says, or is that just kind of the word on the street? That's what I've heard. Yeah. I believe that, man. It would make sense to me. That's what Joe Rogan's told me. Yeah. Podcast. I love Joe Rogan's podcast. I think Joe Rogan helped make UFC. MMA, because he's so involved in it, and then you watch his podcast. Oh yeah, and he's amazing how he knows so much about so much. Yeah, I love that he can have a real conversation and it not get derailed by woke politics. He's just gonna say what he thinks, and we're just gonna roll with it, And it's hey, I don't have to agree with him, but I went to school at Alabama and I did political science there. Yeah. We would get in a room and just duke it out and then go have beers together, that's what it was all about. It's the basically be able to say what you think and defend it, Oh yeah. The advanced levels of, I had a professor named Dr. Alzacoffey at Alabama, Dr. A, and this guy was a Turkish guy, and I loved him. I took all of his classes, but when I first took a class with him, he said something that I didn't like, and I was a young kid, and I booed him. And my friend, in the middle of class, you booed him from the back row. Boo! You know who Lee Garrison is? He was this politician guy. He's a good dude from Tuscaloosa. I don't know if Lee's in politics anymore, but he was in my class. I remember everybody turned around, and then Lee's I think what Mr. Gillespie's trying to say. And then, so I'm walking out, and my buddy, another buddy, rolled up his crimson and white and hit me in the head with it. And he's that man gives you your grade. You better go in there and apologize. And then we became great friends. Yeah. We kind of patched it up, and then I took all of his classes, but he would get you into these debates, man. They were intense in there. Oh yeah. And you had to do 30 and 40 page papers in his class. And so he'd pass the syllabus out, and then you'd get through about 2 or 3 classes, and that would be that moment where you had to roll out, or you were going to get you were stuck, and half the class would be gone, but we would get in there and just duke it out. And talk about all kind of different politics and stuff. I'm still really good friends with people from that class. And that's kind of what I like about Joe Rogan. You can come in here into this studio and drink a beer and talk about whatever you want. But let's be open about it. Let's have fun doing it. Leave all the afraid to say stuff at home, tell me what you think and why. I'm not going to hold it against you. Yeah, there's been very few people. There's very few people out there I can't just become friends with. Yeah, me too. No matter, I got friends that vote all over the place,
Right.
and we all get along. It's crazy where we are now. It's a good time to live in Alabama.
Yeah, I agree, man. I'm with you on that. I just think that you know, living in so many different places and different communities, I have a very good perspective of other people's.
Yeah.
You know, I'm eating in a bunch of different homes, you know, so it's like I kind of get where other people are coming from.
Oh yeah,
and I enjoy the back and forth. You know,
man, it's so cool being able to. I don't know, you know, being from here and knowing the Alabama culture and you know, I feel like I can get along with anybody around here.
Yeah,
and I feel like there's a hard line towards, you know, respecting people and doing right by people. But outside of that, I mean, I feel like, you know, as long as you're doing those things, people in Alabama respect one another no matter what you think.
Yeah.
You know,
and unless you're an Auburn fan, and then you're kind of like, you know what I mean?
That's
you go there and you're like, oh,
that's right.
You had me until you said Auburn. Until you said
right.
War Eagle.
That's right.
No, I'm just kidding. Of
That's
course.
right.
Let's talk about some games we got coming up this weekend. Pull up the, you know, I know that you're a guy who pays close attention to what's happening in the world of college football. So I'm sure that you're going to be keeping a keen eye on the Duke against Louisville game.
I've got an office pool bet on that one, so I gotta. Is Louisville? Have they lost since?
Yeah, they're 6-1.
So who'd they lose to? They lost after Notre Dame game?
They lost to, I want to say it was Pitt. Oh, they just lost to Pitt. So they won against Notre Dame. Then they got a little bit too big for their britches.
Yeah.
And they lost 38-21. So now they got Duke coming into town.
Is Riley Leonard playing?
I think he got hurt again in the Florida State game. But I don't know how serious it is or whatever. But when he's in there, he's
didn't
good.
Come back in against Florida State.
I don't know if he's coming back or not. Very weak.
What's the line on that? I should know.
It is 4.5. Yeah, Louisville about 4.5. Yep.
I think I'll take that. I'll probably take Louisville there. And I hadn't even watched them play too much.
Yeah.
But Duke, I like Duke, but I do think they're overrated. Have been ever since they beat Clemson. I think that put them on the map and kind of swayed the public opinion ever since week one. I think I'll ride with Louisville in that game.
This is one that I know you're going to be watching on ESPNU, 7:00 Saturday. Old Dominion at James Madison.
Yeah, man. You know, I've had that one circled on the calendar.
You know what? James Madison is 7-0 right now, 4-0 in the Sun Belt, and they're not allowed to play in the postseason.
Yeah, well,
the championship game for their conference because it's their first year in. How stupid is that?
No, somebody was telling me, so they have way more scholarships now than they've ever had, or they get way more than most other schools because of that.
I don't know.
I think that's, and again, I'm talking out of my ass, but I thought
something with scholarships.
I think they've got more scholarships than most other schools, and they filled them up with just a unbelievable amount of transfers that are
ballers
from big schools. Hell, I went to that South Alabama Southern Miss game the other night.
You went in person?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And I didn't realize. The South Alabama, two of the South Alabama running backs, one's a transfer from Florida State and one's from Virginia Tech.
Really?
And there's a number of other guys that are from big schools too.
How was that experience? Is it a good place to watch?
Man,
football?
I love that place.
Really?
They could not have built a better stadium. I think it holds like 35,000 people.
Yeah.
But it's just, it's nice.
Good time, huh?
Yeah, it beats the hell out of Ladd Stadium, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever been to Ladd. But.
Yeah. I went to the bowl game there when Byron Leftwich.
Yeah, I was at that game too.
Yeah. Marshall brought Marshall.
So crazy. I was at that game, and Byron was one of the quarterbacks coaches in Arizona when I went to Arizona.
And what were you? How old were you at the game? I I'm going to ask this.
I was young. It was early 2000s, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I was like in the third grade.
I don't know why I do that to myself. Because I think part of me thinks it's funny.
Yeah.
The other part wants to cry. I was in Alabama. We just like, hey, you want to go to a bowl game? Yeah, let's go.
And that's like because the same way with Carson Palmer. I was like third grade, and he practiced at our high school for the Senior Bowl, and he was like, "Oh shit, it's time for me to retire."
Yeah. Well, you mentioned the game of the weekend is Oregon at Utah, number 8 against number 13. Bo Nix, former Auburn quarterback, in that one. Pittsburgh and Notre Dame. That's a very losable game for the Irish.
I mean, Florida, Georgia. Now that line is 14.
14.5. I've got it for.
Jeez, that makes me that without Brock Bowers, that scares the hell out of me. But when I'm scared to take it, I usually take it because it makes no sense. So
right.
I'll take Georgia.
Well, I mean, look, they're still going to run the ball. Florida does play them tough, though. You know what? The better play might be the over/under 48.5. I bet they go over that.
I don't know, man. That seems pretty low.
That's what I'm saying. I think they'll go over that. So you're good, but you're out thinking yourself right now.
You're gonna screw me up big time. Had a hell of a year, and now you're just trying to.
I have been pretty decent here the last few weeks.
This is the best year I've ever had, and
all right, I don't want to mess with your formula then.
Well, you've already done that.
Yeah. The thing that I love though is that you're the guy that's coming in and you're going, you know what? You'll say all this and you'll go, because of that, I'm going to do the exact opposite, and you've stuck to that.
Oh yeah,
and that's the hard thing to do.
Oh yeah, I mean when Vegas makes no sense, you go with the side that makes no sense. At least that's what I'm thinking. Because they get the public on one side,
Yeah,
that's their goal.
Yeah, right.
And like Utah minus or +6, that one's kind of tough. I think the public's going to be on Oregon, but last time I checked, they were. But we'll see. I have a hard time trusting Utah to beat Oregon or to cover 6 points.
Right. I don't trust them either. I mean, let's be honest here.
You've done a good job of scaring me.
I know just enough. I got an idea for you, though. Our program here, Elephant in the Room, Roll Tide Pods, brought to you by Lance's Lock.
I'll call Lance.
Yeah. Go ahead and get up with Lance, and he'll straighten you out. Lance'sLock.com. And you even got you got his cell number. You could just call him.
That's right.
And don't forget,
pick his brain.
Yeah, hey, let me ask you a question. Brought to you by MyBookie as well. MyBookie.ag. Use the code next round. You gotta like this little next round football.
I love the shirts. I got a couple at the house. Yeah.
You got some now?
Oh yeah.
Did they send them to you?
No, I got some last year when I played golf with Ryan.
Yeah.
So
I love them too, man.
Ryan and Jim and Paul Register, they threw me a couple. So
I feel like
tell them to send me a few more.
Yeah, I feel like I wear their gear all the time, but it's cool, man. Like I've got like 3 of their shirts and a hat.
They're comfortable.
Yeah, like they did a good job of like not, they did this for those of you out there that are like on the fence about getting one of their shirts or their hats. Like you're like, I don't know if I want to do this. Do it, man. Like I've got to sometimes I've got to make sure I don't double fist. You know what I mean by that? Don't wear the hat and the shirt. That was an old fraternity thing we had. Yeah. You weren't allowed to double fist. If you double fisted, it was kangaroo court for you.
Yeah, sometimes I'll be dropping my daughter off at school and I'll go work out right after, and I still have a bunch of Alabama stuff I work out with.
You can double fist that though.
Yeah, I don't like to though. It's like, dude, we get it.
They might not. Yeah, but I don't know. That's like free workout gear.
Oh no, I agree. You know.
But I know what you mean. You don't want to come in looking like Jake Coker. I could do that. I come in looking like Jake Coker. Who cares? Like, you're going, like people are like, hey, who's that guy? Oh shit, it's Jake Coker. And then they start playing Yay Alabama.
Yeah, I don't want to be the high school hero.
What's the, I know that you got to do like a lot of like, well, you don't have to, but I know you do a lot of like speaking visits and stuff. All former players and especially quarterbacks, there's always like a quarterback club or, or a Rotary or a banquet or something. Yeah. What's the craziest one of those you ever been to? Has there ever been one where you're like, holy shit, I need to get out of here? And you don't have to tell me what it was, but has there been one like that?
No, the worst was right when I got back from and I know there's a few I'm not thinking about. I mean, when I first got back from Alabama, like doing draft prep stuff, and we're fresh off the national championship, and I was working out here in Mobile. It was it was wild. I remember. I mean, one of the first things I was going fishing one weekend. I go into an academy, and I've got my hat down low, just trying to get my lures and get the hell out of there.
Right.
One person recognized me, then another, and it was like, hang on, I'm going to go buy something. Can you sign it? I'm like, guys, I got to get out of here.
That's so funny.
I mean, it was wild, but things have slowed down a lot since then. Thank goodness.
Yeah. What's that? So that's not comfortable then?
I think everybody, I don't know. I mean, I think it's normal to feel kind of weird that people want your autograph. And, I mean, because when you're playing, you just feel like you're just, you're just I'm here playing football and
right.
I love talking to people. I love meeting people and just being a regular guy, and I enjoy that. So, but it's definitely weird getting used to people wanting to take pictures and wanting autographs, just because, again, you feel like the imposter syndrome. Like,
right. What's the weirdest thing you've ever signed?
Oh.
So while you're thinking about it, let me tell you this story, because I got something I want you to sign. So I'm driving here. Let me fill you up.
I'm gonna grab one of these.
Yeah, grab one. All right. So this is a true story. I got a speeding ticket. I don't think I deserved it.
Oh,
okay.
I got a story for you after this.
Okay. All right. So what happened was, I'm driving, and normally I'm in a hurry to go somewhere, right? But this was one of the rare occasions where I really didn't have shit to do.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not far from here, and I'd gone to Bass Pro Shop because I wanted to look at crab traps. And as you know, I'm a big crab eater. I wanted some new crab traps, and I'm coming back, and I was in the car, and I was thinking, okay, I got to buy them in the truck because they're not going to fit in the car. Okay. And I'm coming the other way, and there was construction on two roads that come to my house. Right. So I had to go kind of a different way to get home, but I'm like, I don't have anything to do. I'm not in a hurry. So I'm coming on this road, and I see this guy, and he's riding a bicycle like he's in the Tour de France. And it's like 4:10, and everybody's trying to get home from work. And, like these guys that want to ride their bikes, like in traffic.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you. I love a bike rider when he's on the sidewalk or when he's not like holding up traffic. Right. So he's coming, and I see everybody like snaking out of the road. Like they want to get around this guy. So as a good Samaritan, I'm like, okay, I'm going to speed up so that they can get around this guy faster. Well, coming on, and then I speed up, and it's like, I don't know. I thought it was a 45, and it was really a 35, but I got up to like maybe 50, maybe. And then I slow down as soon as I get by them, and I see all the cars going behind them. So I'm looking at my rearview mirror, and I'm like, that omen right there is going to, I've just done these people a favor. Just when I thought that, out of the line of cars behind the bicyclist is this cop in one of these SUVs, and he comes spinning out like Starsky and Hutch, like going from his 15 miles an hour, like spins out like he's coming to get me. But I thought honestly, I've thought, man, this guy must be going to catch some bank robbers or something. Like, still, it's not even dawned on me he's coming to pull me over, right? So it was me. So I pull over, and he's like gets on the little thing, and he's like, I'm like pulled over on the side, but there's nowhere to go, and he's like, please pull into the parking lot. Like, he's got like a thing on top of his car, right? So there's one place to pull in over there, right? So I pull in, and the guy comes up to my car, and he's like, I mean, the dude's got to be like 19 or something. I mean, like a young dude, and I'm like, I still am not like sure what I'm getting. I thought it was a 45, but it was a 35, and I might have gone like 48,
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, he had to see the guy on the bicycle, right? Like, he had to know that everybody was going 15 miles an hour for a reason, right? So he comes up, and now I'm like parking all these people in the parking lot because there's no spots, And so he walks up, and I'm like, he's like, yeah, you were speeding, and I'm like, did you not see the guy on the bicycle? And he's like, no clue. Okay. So he has no clue that he's going 15 and a 35 because there's a guy holding up traffic and a bicycle. And I just sped up to get, basically to let everybody get around him.
Oh yeah.
But now everybody's coming out of this building, and they're trying to get in their cars and leave. And I'm pulled over here, and then he's behind me, so everybody's like looking at us, and they can't get out. So we're trying to hurry. So long story short, I get the ticket, and I'm like, instead of arguing with the guy, I'm like, I'm going to kick his ass in court. Like, I can't wait. It can't get here fast enough. I'm like, I'll see you in court. I've been through a couple of these before, and I'm very confident that I can go articulate my case. And like, who knows what's going to happen, but I'm going to get my 2 cents in on you for not paying attention, And so for months, I'm like, can't wait, man. I got my game plan set. So I go to court during baseball season. So I got to come all the way back down here, 7 hours, get there, to do this. And instead of calling my name, they call my father-in-law's name. So I'm like looking at the ticket, and I'm like, oh shit, it's my father-in-law's name on it. So I raised my hand, and I'm like, my ticket is this is not my name, but I'm the person that was driving. And then the judge is like, that's your story. And I'm like, well, that's what happened. Go get the cop. And he's like, well, you got to come back. Well, long story short, even shorter is that the guy put my father-in-law's name on the ticket. So my father-in-law is like freaking out because now he's got to drive down here and he's worried about this ticket that he didn't even get.
You got to give your father-in-law some shit.
So he was getting, so it got dismissed, obviously, but I don't know. Don't tell him if anybody knows him, but it would be so funny to like get you to sign it and then, hey, slow down, roll tide, Jay Cooker, and then frame it.
Oh, I got you one. I got you one.
He wasn't happy about it. He kept asking my wife, like, now was Michael speeding? Did he couldn't have used my ID now? Like, no, I didn't. I don't have a 70
like that.
I don't
you were that a lot.
70-year-old guy with white hair and blue eyes. Like the guy he had co-signed on the car, and a guy just made a clerical mistake. And I would have rather have just had it in my name and just gone to court or paid it than have to go through all that. Yeah. But it's pretty funny now, and I still have the ticket. So
I got to tell you this. So right when I committed to Alabama. At this point, I was dating my wife, my now wife, and one weekend, my wife, father-in-law asked me, they're like, "Y'all want to come up to the camp this weekend and hang out and you bring a couple teammates, whatever you want to do?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, we'll do that." And so I got 3 teammates that want to go with me, and we're driving up to Central Alabama from Tallahassee. And I've just committed to Alabama. So I'm transferring and the news is out and I missed an exit and we're going just back roads all.
Where do you mean Central Alabama? Like
around Montgomery.
Okay.
And so like I'm headed there, back roads, like GPS, don't know what the hell where I'm at.
I've been up there.
And I've got, all my old teammates are drinking beer in the back seat, and we're, just all these 2-lane roads. And I come over the top of this hill, and I'm going about 65, and it's, I don't even see the sign. I'm talking, whatever. And I see a cop car and a 35-mile-an-hour sign. And I'm oh shit.
Oh boy.
It's a small town. Like there's probably a few cops in there. And this is Friday night at like 8:00. We just gotten out of whatever workouts or whatever. And we're, it's 2 hours of the drive. And
Andy, we got us one.
and so my roommate's sitting,
get him, Barn.
Yeah, my roommate's sitting in the passenger seat, and I got 3 teammates in the back, or from Florida State, and I pull over. This cop walks up to my window. He goes, son, you know how fast you were going? He's like, and I'm like, I don't know where I am. I'm I didn't see, and like right before he walks up to the window, my buddies, they've been drinking beer. They're stuffing it in the backpacks and trying to hide it. And he goes, he's like, get your ass back here. I want to show you something. And he shows me what he picked up on his radar. And it was like 65. And again, he was like, you know what the speed limit is? And I'm like, no, sir. I don't know what it was when I was going that fast. He's like, it's 35. Now get your ass back to the car. I mean, he's all pissed.
Yeah, right.
And so I go sitting there and we're all, shooting the shit and hanging out. And I remember my roommate was like, I wonder, it's taking forever. And he's like, I wonder what it's like. I mean, I don't know. Again, we're in our own little world. He's just like, I wonder if news has traveled that, he's going to run your plate and know who you are. and you're transferring.
You're not going to believe who we got over here. Yeah, no. The new quarterback at Alabama. It's the Coker boy.
And so we're sitting there talking and like we're literally joking around like, man, what if he just lets you off? What if he just, I don't even know what town we're in. Yeah. And he walks back up, and I roll down the window, and he goes, are you the Jake Coker that just went to Alabama? And I'm like peeking over. I'm like, oh my God, this might work. And I was like, yes, sir, that's me. I'm actually headed up to, I was just bullshitting. I was like, I'm headed up to Tuscaloosa for a visit right now. And he's like, oh my God. He's like, I thought that was you, man. I'm not going to give you a speeding ticket. I'm going to give you just a seatbelt ticket. He's like, it's only $40, but would you mind getting a picture? Yes. And I started laughing. I was like, yeah, I don't mind getting a picture, but you got $40.
I love it.
and right. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it's already paying off.
Yeah. That's how it is, man. That's how it is in the real world. How about going? That's so funny.
No, but that was before I even stepped foot on campus. It was crazy. The funny thing is we were joking about it the whole time.
Yeah.
And
wish he would have been like,
I wish I still had that picture, but it's probably a good thing. I'm ratting my guy out.
No. Really, what the best thing would have been if he would have just been like, Jake, I'm writing you up for the whole thing. War Damn Eagle. And that's it. I'm gonna tell you too, man. Like we joke, but they got the worst job in the world, man. That is a sucky job. Police officer. One of the guys actually in Dr. Alzacoffy's class, one of my best friends, Kelvin Gosa, was a police officer in Northport and in Tuscaloosa. No, Northport and Meridian, and then he was in the Iraq wars. And just the stories, man, just dealing with people all the time and, people's bad moods, and you're catching people on their worst day.
And you might be having your worst day.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's mentally, it's so draining, man.
You get me on a political speech, but
you know what I mean? Like, we laugh, but we love those guys.
Oh, man, Ryan Kelly's dad was a police officer up in Ohio. And I mean, of course, I've always loved police officers. My dad was a firefighter in Mobile.
Yeah. My dad was a volunteer firefighter.
Yeah, knew a lot of police officers, and it's so funny. You got people that complain about police, and then when they're in trouble, that they just who are you going to call? The police?
Yeah, right.
To come help you and save you and protect you. And I mean, those guys, geez, what they sacrifice.
Killers, man. Killer guys.
Not enough money.
Yeah, no, the money's not good, and I hope that young guy figures out, though, how to read a driver's license. I've been to court. Like, I drive so much. I mean, you're just going to get tickets just because, I drive like, I don't know. I think on my last taxes, like almost 30,000 miles. I mean, I'm going back and forth here and and the best part about it is, like, you get a ticket, you go in and you fight it. They're normally pretty good about working out a deal with you.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Kind of like deal with hospitals after having a child.
Yeah, I mean, except down here, I go into court. And I was trying to figure out what to wear to court that day, and Stephanie's like, "Oh, wear you can just wear shorts," and I'm like, "I don't know if that's a good idea." So I wear long pants, and the judge is like, "Somebody had shorts on." He's like, "Go get these shorts out of my courtroom now, and if you don't come back, I'm putting a bench warrant out for you." And it's like some guy is like, he's
Jesus.
Like, yeah, right. Like, whoa.
You should have just worn an orange jumpsuit in there.
Like, what? Like, what's going on? Like, Your Honor, I'm here because your guy put the wrong name on my ticket. Like, it's hot outside.
You should have just not done anything, not shown up, and just let your file be served.
Yeah, that was terrible. Oh man, they would come back to me. Think about that for one. Like, that's why, I mean, this moment needs to be like framed and like a real nice frame. And I've been thinking about what to do with that. Like what a great gift that would be.
Oh yeah.
Like, slow down.
Yeah. As you get older, those are the kind of gifts you appreciate.
Yeah, right. Well, he's so irritated by him trying to get to the bottom of what really happened. Like, not what I said, but what happened. Yeah. Well, now, Michael, and how did it explain this to me again? Now, he's driving, and they pulled him over. And they put my driver on there and they give him a ticket. And now he's got the ticket, but it's a ticket that's really for him. But
where's your father-in-law from?
Brookwood. He imitates me all the time too. So.
Oh God!
Nah, we love him, man. He is like he's a great dude. He is. He's just like really a go-getter, like he's constant, like real good business guy, like kind of just like always, digging around and figuring out a way to make some money and stuff. But my son like worships him. Like, he's like, I'm just like some asshole that's around here, Granddaddy's cool.
I get it.
That feeling, like I'll say something and it's like I get this look like,
Oh yeah.
Like, what are you telling me? Like, Granddaddy says it. All of a sudden now it's like, okay, well, Granddaddy said that.
Oh yeah.
What is that?
I get a Snapchat from my wife yesterday, and it's my daughter is in my in-laws' driveway, and he is dressed up in one of those inflatable dinosaur.
I love those. Yes.
And he's chasing her around and roaring at her. And I'm like,
Yes.
shit, I got to one up this.
Oh, that's a great one. I love those things. That is a great idea.
She's obsessed with dinosaurs. And so, she
just
shows
showed up.
and she comes out the door just running, chasing her around that inflatable suit.
Oh, man. Are you guys still doing Tom and Jerry for Halloween?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. I think I'll let him take the dub on this. I'll buy him a Tom costume and let him be Tom.
That'd be a great idea.
And I'll just,
I saw it on Netflix yesterday. I was thinking about you.
Oh, man.
I was trying to find a good special on extraterrestrials, and I love that stuff.
When I walk through here,
Yeah, someone was on. One was on. I know.
Los Alamos.
I don't know. I watch them all. Like if they're, like a lot of times it's background noise, but you got to keep an eye on them. That's a whole nother episode. Like if we had time, we could do that. We've talked about this doing like a non-football
conspiracy theory podcast.
Yeah, except when you get too close to the conspiracies, you commit suicide.
Like flying too close to the sun.
Yeah, right. Like it's like you disappear, you know. It's all fun and games when you're way off base. You start getting too close. I don't know what happened to that guy.
Yeah.
Oh man. I guess we got to talk a little bit more football. It's just we've done an hour and 10 minutes though.
Can we pause this real quick?
You gotta take a time out.
Well,
let's wrap it up. Then. Because I don't know how to fix that. So
yeah.
Next week's LSU. Final thoughts.
I think I went on remember Aaron Murray?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Did you get on his show?
Yeah, I went on his show yesterday,
good,
I told him I think it's going to be about a 31-21 type victory for Alabama. I think we get a few stops. We control the ball, play a little bit better throughout the game. And again, I'm glad it's, actually I told him, and I kind of forgot mid point making. I was like, I'm glad it's not in Baton Rouge, kind of like Auburn, crazy shit happens in those stadiums. And as I'm saying that, I realized that the prayer in Jordan-Air was against Aaron Murray.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like, I didn't make a point to remind him of that, but sure, it brought up a lot of bad memories. But glad it's in Tuscaloosa, and again, I think we won by 10 points. I think the spread's going to be around 7.5.
Okay, well, you can change your mind because we'll do 2 shows leading up to it.
Yeah.
Stolen Faces are Friday and Saturday this week at the Malga Inn in Mobile. Great Grateful Dead cover band. So that's my advice to you. There's a very good chance that I'll be there. So that'll be fun because I didn't get tickets for the Buffett tribute at the Legion down here. So there's a couple people trying to pull some strings for me, but it's going to be a good weekend nonetheless. And then back to football hardcore next week.
Oh yeah.
So anyway,
get back into it. Have to get Ryan back in here.
We'll get him in here.
He was saw him last night. He was and he was supposed to be here today, but he was
very busy
talking up his Dallas Turner.
Chris Braswell.
Yeah,
he loves some Braswell. Braswell's been showing out too, man.
He
since he mentioned Braswell's name, he
had some words with Braswell last weekend. He was like, "I love that guy."
Oh, he talked to him.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. That's awesome. I can't wait. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. Elephant in the Room. He's Jake Coker. I'm Mick Gillispie. Make sure that you like and subscribe to Roll Tide Pods. Support all of the shows that are on here. We're doing them for you, and comment. I love to hear what you guys have to say about us. Tell us about your experiences at Alabama and what you think about the football team. And we'll check you out next week.